All right, and now with Dr. Jackson's help, we're going to jump into the brain. I know I've already gone over the mind and the spirit and just kind of that higher level functioning of what goes on inside of the brain. But now we're going to talk about how the mind and the spirit can guide the brain with deliberate action or with also the deliberate acquisition of information to use the organ that we control, but that controls everything else about us to our advantage. You know what I mean? Put both hands on the wheel, so to say, and then not just feel controlled or nature or nurture about the brain, but really look at it and say, man, the same way that we use our lungs or move our arms, we have that same kind of control over what we're going to ask our brain to do with our body to be able to achieve stuff. And Dr. Jackson, I mean, from my knowledge, you got one of the biggest brains around. So if you want to share a little bit about how it's used, what's, the hidden powers and, just your journey with, deliberately improving your mind and your brain to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You want to speak about that?
Sure. I think one of the most important concepts when it comes to the brain is understanding that people learn in several different ways. And so the first thing you have to do is kind of look into different learning strategies to understand which one fits in with the framework of how your brain works to obtain information. For me, I learn best by speaking out loud so that I can hear my thoughts and hear the words that are being said. Another way that I learn is by teaching, which is the same methodology of being able to hear and speak what is being taught. And so for you, for your brain to be able to obtain the information, you have to really think about the strategies that can be utilized in order for you to go into the direction of what you see for yourself.
I think that's a very important first point about the brain is that you have a certain way of acquiring information. I know when I was younger, reading was not my thing. I know some people could probably attest to this. I would read something and I would go 2 or 3 pages and I wouldn't remember nothing that happened on page 2, 3, and 4. And I had to go back and I had to start over, or and what I had to learn about myself was I was a better audio listener to books than I was a reader of books. And it freed me up to be able to do other things. I could do laundry and listen to a book. I could, do cook and I could be getting smarter during other physical activities. You know what I mean? Another thing I feel like is people are more empowered when they understand that the brain is where we keep and house our skills, right? So, even something as simple as snapping, my kids can't snap. But once that skill is learned, it's housed in the brain and the brain can execute it almost like running a piece of software. I mean, I played saxophone in high school for years and I still know how to play saxophone, even though I haven't done it probably in 8 or 9 years, but because my brain acquired the skill, I practiced it with my body and I still have that skill. Can you speak to the deliberate acquisition of knowledge as you're self-constructing, like bringing knowledge into the brain on purpose versus waiting for a teacher to show you or thinking that you have to go to college and be in a classroom or just sitting back and wondering like, why isn't anybody showing me this? Can you talk to once you understand the brain's ability to really keep, house, find, and understand new information that you can go get knowledge on purpose?
Yes. So for me, what I do is I kind of look up books that are in terms of what I want to learn more about, because it does take a while for people to get back to you to be able to help you learn things. And so when you have those little gaps in the experience, you can easily research the books that go with that particular topic. One thing that I learned while in dental school is how important the repetition of doing a particular procedure is, so that when you get to the point where you're going from working on a mannequin to the actual patient, you're able to have more of that muscle memory, more of the identification from your stored memories to be able to do certain procedures on patients. And so for me, the depth of my knowledge came from the desire to seek out more information to fill the holes in what was missing in my understanding.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I like what you said too about repetition and reiteration. I mean, taking something in over. I have audiobooks that I've listened to 4 or 5 times. And I feel like every time I listen to it, I learn something new. And and also that is why we've created this site. That's why we've created this curriculum, this learning information, not only about self-construction, but real estate, business, stocks, you know, personal finance, so that you can know and have a place to go where the information has been vetted for you and then taking the time to explain it to you in a good way so that it's easy for your brain to absorb it and understand it. It's not out here like it is all over the world. And you got to figure what book is the right book and what class is the right class and what person is the right person. We tried to take the things that we knew that were absolutely important, especially your brain, your mind, your self-construction, the building of yourself. We took the time to make sure that we brought that to you the best way that possible, because we understand that once you receive that knowledge, now your ability to apply it changes everything for you. And that's what we want. We want you to be able to be happy, experience development on purpose, and build yourself up. So I love talking about the brain. I can talk about it all day, but we're going to get into some more topics for you. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for giving us your insights on learning style and also repetition, and making sure you're taking it in more than once and doing a little bit of research to see what you need to find to put in there along the topics that you want. Excellent insights.